drink of. It's an endless bottomless thirst, and I have found that it matters that the past has passed. If you dare to let it go and stare down the ghost while the ghost stops staring back. And the same thing that pains me, well, it pains you. What if we are everything and we're nothing? Are we insignificant somethings? Are we hardly innocent, purely magnificent pieces of a one thing? And we rise and we fall, and we run and we walk and we crawl. Well, we might not have it all together, but together we have it all. When you see me, you can know me. I'm a little bit of her and him, I'm a little bit of me and you. There are no dangers, we're in danger of missing out on this truth, that there are sages and there are queens. There's the seen and there is the unseen. Can we gaze in the mirror? Will it ever get clearer? Can we wake up from this dream that there are lies before your eyes? We're all wrapped up in a disguise, with the truth that needs to prove, and it goes by many names and many languages and many faiths. Stop seeking, it's seeking you. Be still and you'll know that it's true. If you don't believe it, there's a man by the river with a bucket of water to sell to you. And the same thing that pains me, well, it pains you. What if we are everything and we're nothing? Are we insignificant somethings? Are we hardly innocent, purely magnificent pieces of a one thing? And we rise and we fall, and we run and we walk and we crawl. Well, we might not have it all together, but together we have it all. When you see me, you can know me. I'm a little bit of her and him, I'm a little bit of me and you. There are no strangers, and we're in danger of missing out on this truth.
So, am I on?
Yeah.
I am. Oh, okay. So, in honor of this month's energy of Halloween, we'll be talking about non-identity. The tradition of dressing up October 31st and November 1st dates back to the Gaelic festivals. Samhain. The costumes, the guises, were intended to mask and protect oneself from intrusions of spirits that might cross back over into this earthly dimension during this liminal time where the veil is thin. So how does that relate to our spiritual path? How does that relate to the insignificant something of the everything and nothing that we are? Well, we could start by recognizing that this physical human body, this big mass of stuff that we carry around, is the most significant disguise of our true self. The capital S self. Our soul self. Our soul self is already masked by this human person, so we immediately arrive into this world with this huge physical challenge. Not only do we think of ourselves as this meat suit, we begin to compare our meat suit with everyone else's. And when we compare, we judge, we qualify, and we disconnect from who we truly are by being of this world rather than simply a temporary adventure through this world. We allow ourselves to further disconnect from the other soul selves who may not look like us or think like us or feel like us or walk like us, speak like us in their current human form. So the first mask is our physical self. What is it protecting? Our soul self truth. The task, the human task. Experience the lessons necessary to transcend our human form. As if that isn't enough. Then comes the mental challenge. The distance from our soul self is made even more unrecognizable by all the false impressions and illusions we are taught. We learn to identify so closely with our appearance, our clothing, our possessions, titles, our roles, that surround our physical body in this three-dimensional world, though none of those things really reflect who we really are. To me, all that stuff is the biggest lesson in distraction that humans have to overcome. We are taught to accumulate and personify in order to individualize and be unique and feel important and successful. Yet it is not until we declutter and simplify our mental constructs that we connect back to the true essence of the soul self. The mask is our mental self. What is it protecting? Our human programming. The task, remove the definitions and categories to destruct the mental form. Physical challenge, mental challenge. What's next? The emotional. Here is where we begin to associate feelings and emotions with the mental constructs we are taught. Once we have an internal feeling and an outward emotion of that feeling, we begin to anchor those vibrations into our physical body. We embed the feel good or feel not so good experience into our emotional body, which prevents us from experiencing anything in the future that has a similar look and feel with our pure and open heart. Regardless of what might be completely different or what outcome is possible, in the new moment, we remember the previous feeling and emotion. If we had a feel-good moment before, we typically have high expectations of a pleasant, ecstatic, or energizing experience. If we had a feel-not-so-good experience before, we typically have high expectations of a scary, uncomfortable, or pressured moment. The mask, our emotional self. So what is that protecting? Our human beliefs. Our task is to neutralize our emotions by conscious awareness of the source of our imprinted feelings to clear the emotional forms. Physical, mental, emotional. This list could go on and on all day. What else could possibly be working us? The intellectual challenge. We really think we have life figured out, don't we? Our intellect is so strong within us that when we lock into a logical path, we can't even see the other pathways of possibilities. The intellect combines an emotional experience with a mental construct and determines what will happen to our physical body, right? Then we make decisions and choices based on those 3 layers of input. And this is absolutely wonderful when we're being hunted by saber-toothed tigers. This is quite a limiting faculty when we can, in most situations, set aside the fight or flight concerns and allow ourselves the joy of living in that rest and digest mode. The mask, our intellectual self. What is it protecting? Our perceived safety and security. So what is our task? Overcoming our fears to walk as that luminous warrior, as love and light. So Bob sang in the first song, I have found that it matters that the past has passed. If you dare to let it go, when you stare down the ghosts, will the ghosts start staring back? Stop. Sorry. What ghosts are haunting you to the point that you can't even see? That most of what we believe we are protecting are forms that have been masked by layers upon layers of our human adventure. Which ultimately means that I lost my voice.
Can't hear.
Gotta be right there. Yes, it's short.
She's having technical difficulties with it.
Yeah.
All
All right. Well, let me scream.
Actually, let's give you the handheld.
Yeah, because I'll have to wear hearing aids.
You might need to take that all the way off so it doesn't squeal.
Oh, yeah.
It is off.
Yeah, it's tough.
Haha. So will the ghost stop staring back?
Hands on.
What ghosts are haunting you to the point that you can't even see that most of what we believe we are protecting are forms that have been masked by layers upon layers of our human adventure? Which ultimately means that when we let them go and stare them down, we will find our true self, our soul self, staring right back at us. I suspect our soul self isn't just staring back, they are welcoming us back to the all-encompassing truth of our being. Our truth, our center, our core, our stardust, our light. When we reach that revelation, that revealing of the soul self, doesn't that feel like we removed a mask? That we tore away a guise, that we are more firmly protected from those haunting spirits that access us through those 4 layers of human conditioning. When we release something that we have identified with that does not support our spiritual expansion, we undo our formed identity. We become closer to non-conformity, to non-duality, to non-identity. So I would love to invite you into a meditation. I invite you to get in touch with your breath. To be comfortable in your chair, to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. And I would like to set up a little journey for you to take during this meditation. I encourage you to invite any spirit guides, angels, power animals to accompany you. And enter into a landscape completely void of life. Completely void of life, so that you and any of your guiding accomplices are the only life there. This landscape is where you can toss out whatever conditioning you're ready to release. Whatever form it's in, physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, that form will be transmuted into a gift for your spiritual self. So when you identify it and ceremonially release it in whatever fashion resonates with you, remember to ask for the spiritual gift of the transmuted energy. You don't want to leave anything in this landscape that could possibly come alive. It cannot haunt you in the future. You want to transmute all the mucky energy, the hucha, into pure divine energy, the Sami energy that will support your personal spiritual path. So as you walk the landscape and identify that which is ready to be released, ask for it to be transmuted, and ask for the spiritual gift in return.
You are not your story. No, no, no. You are not your story. No, no, no. You are not your story. Let it go. You are not your story, let it go. It's a figment of your imagination. It's fleeting and it's ever changing, but you are not your story, no, no, no. Because you are light, because you are light, because you are light. You are not your body, no, no, no. You are not your body, no, no, no. You are not your body. was given for your